President Biden has pledged more support for Mississippi's capital, Jackson, where people have been left without drinking water for a third straight day. A state of emergency has been declared and the National Guard has been called in after a water treatment plant broke down. Joining us live now is radio host and journalist Clay Edwards, who's in Jackson for us. Clay, good morning to you. It's quite shocking. I was reading about this yesterday that you're out of fresh drinking water. I mean, just tell us about that and how serious it is.
Well, it's not just fresh drinking water. We're out of potable water or non-potable water, too. People can't flush their toilets, use the bathroom, cook, anything. There is no water coming out of the taps here in Jackson, Mississippi for the entire city, up to around 180,000 people. And I just saw on Facebook where people are now, the free bottled water they're getting from these pickup points, people are selling palletfuls of them on these Facebook marketplace things. It's sickening what's going on here.
So how are the queues to try and, get bottled water however they can?
The state has set up 3 what they're calling mega sites for people to come through and get, I think you can get 2 to 4 cases per car, depending on the different sites and who's giving them out. Plus the communities and churches and the surrounding areas have really stepped up. Our neighboring communities of Pearl and Gluckstadt and Madison, they're all doing bottled water pickup stuff for free as well to help the community of Jackson out. What's
the cause of it, Clay?
30 years of far-left liberal leadership is the cause of it. They're trying to pass the buck onto white flight or the floods and everything else that have happened over the last couple of months. But this has been going for a long time. A lot of very bad leaders have kicked the can down the road and kicked the can down the road. And we have come to where the can has hit a wall. There's no more kicking it down the road. The buck has stopped with Chokwe Antar Lumumba, the current mayor of Jackson, Mississippi, and this city council. They have not done their jobs. They have ignored warnings from the EPA for the last 4 or 5 years. And this is where we're at. The city was under a boil water notice, mind you, for the previous 3 or 4 weeks leading into the water no longer coming out of the faucet. So it's been a disaster here. Right. This is just the icing on top of the cake.
So is it, I mean, was there flooding that it was a result of this? Was there sewage that leaked into the main water supplies or treatment facilities that aren't working anymore? What's the crux of this latest episode?
This is because of a plant that one of the water refinery plants, cleansing plants, has gone down. But it's been an issue for months now, this plant, actually for years. But again, the flood, surely it doesn't help none. I don't want to downplay the flooding, but the plant was never underwater. There was never any flooding there. The flooding has nothing to do with this. Now, there may be some pipes underground that burst because of the excess water, but the plant being down has nothing to do with the flooding. We have another plant, a natural well water plant on the other side of town that covers the southwest side of Jackson and what they call a suburb named Byram. And it's down too, but it's down because of the pipes have shattered under the ground. So you have the backup plant and you have the main plant down from mismanagement and lack of staffing and lack of maintenance. It's like getting a car and driving it for 20 years and never changing your transmission fluid. That's what they've done. They haven't maintenance the plant. It's been terrible leadership and mismanagement of funds, and now they expect the state and the federal government to step up and bail them out of their problem. And now they're going to have to, because otherwise you have the capital city of Mississippi with no water.
Any word on how?
It's also a city that.
Yes.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I was just going to ask you how much longer you're expected to deal with this for. What's the expectation from whether it's state or federal government?
Well, the state has been very honest and just saying, I don't know. We don't know how long it's going to be. I predict somewhere in the 30-day range. It could be shorter. It could be longer, but I think a month is realistic. People need to hunker down and plan on not having water for the foreseeable future. We're also talking about a city that is per capita the #1 for murder in the United States of America and the #1 overall for STDs. So you throw this water situation in on top of a city like this, it's a disaster.
Wow.
Poor leadership.
I want
to make sure I get the message across. This is a leadership issue, not an infrastructure issue. Well, it's an infrastructure issue due to poor leadership.
Okay, Clay Edwards bringing us up to speed there with that emergency unfolding and continuing to unfold in Jackson, Mississippi. Thanks for your time, Clay. We'll talk to you soon.